This is WTF. I am Marc Maron. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. I think I just got through a 3-day period of mild mania. I'm admitting it. I'm fessing up. I have mild mania sometimes. Maybe it's just allergies. Maybe it's too much coffee. Maybe it's because I'm out of my fucking mind most of the time with bullshit, because that's what relaxes me. Too much information right out of the gate. I apologize. Welcome to the show. Everyone take a breath. Oh my God. Okay, I'm better, he said, convincing himself and no one else. Today on the show, the Amazing Johnathan. I'm sure many of you remember him from your childhood. The crazy, over-the-top magic guy. I have a very specific memory of Johnathan. And Jonathan's dealing with some pretty heavy shit right now, and he'll get into that when we talk. But I have a very specific memory of Johnathan. I bring it up with him a bit. But early on, when I was just starting out doing comedy, maybe it wasn't that early. Maybe it was like 92 or something. I was in Los Angeles. I had broken up with my girlfriend at the time. She was in San Francisco. And I'd somehow gotten into cahoots with this publicist who eventually tried to ruin my life because I didn't like her. And but her name was Stacy. And I remember I was at her house. She lived with a couple of people. And I got a gig. I got a TV gig. I got a spot on the A-list. I don't know if she got me that spot or not. I don't think so. But I do know I was in trouble because I wasn't expecting to do TV. So I had no jacket. So I had to borrow her roommate's jacket. It was this navy jacket. I remember I was sort of panicked about the whole thing. And it was shooting the next day. And at that time, I don't remember who was hosting. I think Richard Lewis was hosting the A-list at that time. And for some reason, they would put the big act first and then the smaller act second. Amazing Johnathan was my show. I was on with Amazing Johnathan, so he was going first. And I'm freaking out. I'm wearing borrowed clothing. I'm standing in the wings, and I'm watching Amazing Johnathan kill with this huge closer where he cuts his arm off. He cuts his arm off to close a 10-minute set, 8-minute set. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to follow that? And it was the first time I ever heard this. And I don't think I'll ever hear it again unless entertainment changes drastically. A guy came up to me, the stage manager, and said, look, we're going to get you right out there as soon as we clean up the blood. And that was one of my early baptisms into televised comedy. I did okay. I was a little panicked. The jacket didn't fit right, but that's the breaks. So we'll talk to Amazing Johnathan momentarily. Also, Denver, Colorado. I'll be there this weekend, July 18th and 19th. Is that the date? Are those the dates? I'll be at the Comedy Works. I enjoy working at the Comedy Works. If we could get enough of my fans out there to sort of keep out the profound drunkies. Denver is one of the drunkest fucking cities I've ever been in my life. I think it's the altitude. I don't know. But second shows there in that area downtown after a certain hour, it's a type of blotto that it's rare to see outside of Glasgow. But Denver's pretty fucking drunky. I'm gonna attribute it to the altitude. So how am I? How am I doing? I'm okay. I've had the week off for the most part. The last time I talked to you, I was on a mountaintop, and the week off's been going pretty good. I've been trying to get my brain back into. I'm trying to get grounded, man. I got a lot of stuff going on all the time. Don't know how to pace myself. So I took that 2-day trip, and within hours of being out of the trip, on the way back, I think I lost my shit on the phone over bullshit. And I had some other, like my brain, I got a lot of work coming up. I got things to do. And there's some part of me, I don't know if I've really talked about this specifically before, that my brain would like to get like literally consumed with trivial little things and make them monumental, as opposed to feel the stress or dread or panic of what might be coming on a bigger level. Like my inability to compartmentalize things makes everything sort of percolate along at the same level. So everything is pretty much all or nothing, man. All in or not in at all. I get consumed with bullshit as a distraction. I think I put it in place where most people put a spiritual practice, perhaps. How can I make this easier to understand? Okay, for instance, so I'm driving back from the desert. On that journey back, there's an outlet situation. And why wouldn't I stop at an outlet? I was very proud of my time in the desert, to be honest with you, because I travel alone to work a lot, but I'm working. This is really one of the first trips I've taken alone voluntarily and didn't get there and sit around saying like, oh, I'm an idiot. Look at, I'm alone. I'm a loser. I really was happy. Couldn't be happier, actually, to be alone. But I'm driving back and I'm like, hey, I'm still alone. I'm in my car and, I could use some clothes. I could always go see what they have. So I pull over. I go to the outlets. It's early. It's a weekday. It's beautiful. There's nobody there. First store in, the Levi's store. I don't know about you, but I got a thing. I'm wired for Levi's. Rarely do I get things that fit at Levi's, but there's something that compels me. There's some part of me that believes deeply in that label, in Levi's. So I go in, I'm running around. I'm already in some sort of weird, hyper-hypnotized state that happens at outlet malls. Like some part of your brain, it's like, I'm like stealing. But you're not. Most of the stuff is made for the outlet mall. But there was actually a real bargain at the Levi store. They had these Levi jackets, but they were sort of a fine corduroy. And I like a nice Levi's jacket. I've bought several that I don't wear. And I was like, holy shit, these are cool, man. I can make these work. I can make these me. So I try them on quickly. I'm like, a large is probably what I need, though I wear medium sometimes, but it's hard to tell. But I just threw the larges on. I looked in the mirror. I'm like, perfect. And then I'm on to the shirts. Boom, I'm trying that shit on. Buying shirts. Bought the 2 jackets. I had a lot invested in the jackets. Really wanted the jackets. Thought they were really great. So I'm driving home. Everything's fine. I'm on the phone. I'm getting back into the panic of my life. I get home and I immediately throw those jackets in the washer to get them ready to wear. And then they get out of the washer and I put them on. They're too fucking big. Both of them are too fucking big. And they were on sale at an outlet store, so they're not returnable. And the outlet store is an hour and a half away. So for 2 days, I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. Why didn't I just buy a goddamn clown outfit? Why can't I buy clothing for myself? And I was consumed with the self-flagellation. It took everything I had for 2 days not to drive back there angrily and just buy 2 mediums out of spite against myself. And then would have had 4 jackets, and who knows if the mediums would even have fit. So then I'm like, well, should I just throw them away? Because I don't want them just hanging in my closet calling me an asshole. And then I decided, with some guidance, just relax, not that big a deal. It isn't that big a deal. So why did my brain get hung up on it? Because that's what it wants to do. That's how it's going to ground itself. It's going to be consumed with trivial things that I'm going to make myself nuts at to avoid feeling deeper things or perhaps getting overwhelmed about what's coming in the future. It's my spiritual system. It's the little things. That's the system. That's the Marc Maron spiritual system. It's the little things that will consume you and bring you down. I was almost going down a bad path where I was committing to not exercising and giving up on health in general. I had this fantasy. I created a straw man in my mind. I decided, well, look, I don't want to be one of those 50-year-old dudes who are just in overly good shape. Have you seen those guys that are like 50 or 60 years old and I invented this guy as a comparison. Like their faces are drawn and their bodies are ripped, but they're not really ripped because their muscles are just they're almost like curtain rods holding up, drapes of sagging skin. It doesn't look healthy. It looks like it was a body built by panic and vanity. I built that guy. That was the guy. That was the overly fit old guy that I would see in my mind. And I would say, that doesn't look good. That guy thinks he looks good, but he doesn't look good. He looks like all he does is run from death and lift weights and eat no fat. Is that a life to live? As I eat my cake, is that a life to live? But thank God I ran that guy off and I realized, look, dude, maybe you could just, get back into the swing of things, get healthy. So I'll see if I can hold on to that. I'm very happy that many of you liked the Radio Cowboy episode of Maron on IFC. It was a thrill to work with the Honorable Phil Hendry, who is a genius, a radio genius. It was my sort of homage and tip of the hat and act of respect towards an industry that gets short shrift. There's a lot of great people in radio, and radio was the heart of American entertainment for a long time. And I'm glad so many people saw the poetry of that episode and it got a lot of feedback. There's a few episodes that have gotten a tremendous amount of feedback. That one, the Boomer Lives episode, the mouth cancer episode. But it's interesting to see which ones resonate with people. And obviously, I'm only getting a certain amount of feedback through Twitter and whatever. But people really seem to dig that, and radio people seem to dig that episode, and I appreciate that. This week's episode is a sort of it's a troubled sexual dynamic that was based on some truth, but is seriously fictionalized. But it's a very compelling episode written by my friend Jerry Stahl, the Dark Prince that is Jerry Stahl. And it's a little bit cringy, but there's some heavy boy stuff in this one, some male things, and records, and Dave Alvin song. Yeah, a lot of things going on. And then there's 2 more episodes coming up after this. The one I directed, that was very important for me to helm because I needed it to be right. It's called I think we landed on Stolen Joke, or maybe The Joke. It is about joke stealing, which is a very loaded topic, as you all know, who follow the pulse of the comedy community. And then the final episode is called Desert Road Trip, which features Andy Kindler, Dave Anthony, and a little bit of Eddie Pepitone, and also a surprise guest. And I'm not going to spoil that. There's no fucking way I'm going to spoil that. But okay, so let's do this. Let's talk to Amazing Johnathan. Prepare yourself. There's a little weightiness to it, but this guy was a huge act, man. He was a huge act, and I had to follow him after he cut his arm off, and I'll never forget that. So let's go now to my conversation with Amazing Johnathan. One of my first TV sets was following you. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Because the A-list, they used to put the headliner on first and then the new guy. And it was, the reason I remember it is I'm waiting to go on and some guy comes up. He's like, we'll bring you right out after we clean up the blood.
Yeah, that's why I headlined, because nobody could follow me, not because of the material, but because of the mess.
Right, but I had to. You had cut your arm off.
Yeah, I always used stage blood, cut my arm off or drooling blood out of my mouth or something, you know.
Was it always that? I mean, was it magic first, or was it, where'd you start out?
I started out doing magic, but I was not really good at it. You know, I did my high school talent shows, the last show I ever did.
As a magician?
Yeah, it bombed so horribly.
What'd you do?
Listen.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Fraser, Michigan.
You're from Michigan?
Right outside of Detroit.
Oh, really? That's where you grew up?
Yeah.
Wow. So and you're a little older than me.
Yeah, maybe. So, I'm 55, I am.
I'm 50.
Are you?
So, when you were growing up in Michigan, were you into rock and roll?
Yeah. Bob Seger and...
You saw them when they were coming up?
Oh, yeah, I know Bob Seger. He used to own part of the Comedy Castle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he'd come in once in a while because watch his investment. I remember him saying to me, "I'll buy as much cocaine as you can find." That's what he said. And he said, "You're talking to the wrong guy, man. You just lost your money." So, and I couldn't find any. Nobody had
bad night.
Yeah, nobody had a thing.
Yeah,
I felt so bad, and nobody's ever said that to me since.
You were one of the sort of like the mythology around Amazing Johnathan and cocaine is epic.
Yeah, it was. I did a lot of it, and for a long time, I wasn't one of the guys who quit after Robin Williams and was at Belushi's party. Yeah,
were you at that party?
No, but that's when everybody quit around that year.
Right.
Everyone thought, oh, well, this is serious. You know,
right. People were going
this could
down.
Kill you.
Yeah.
No, I kept going, man. That didn't faze me at all.
You eventually ended up smoking it, right?
Yeah, I did. I ended up smoking it, and then you know what got me off of it?
What?
Speed.
A little crystal meth.
Yeah,
took
man.
the edge off.
I couldn't get coke one night. Someone said I had speed. There's the only thing left to do. So I actually smoked that too. After
and that just jammed you for
like
days.
It wasn't like it is today. It was like speed. It was like you don't smoke that. You snort it. But
right.
I smoked it anyway.
Right.
And I would write like a fiend. I'd go in my garage and I would write and
get
write
things organized.
Yeah. Just build all kinds of great props for my show. And
really?
Yeah, it would really. The whole show was written on that, and then it stopped. I stopped being creative on it and learned how to eat again, and it was just like now I was a normal guy with a habit. You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't the same.
But it took a while to get there, didn't it? I mean, so you start in Michigan. You're growing up. Wait, what's your real name?
John Zealous, and I changed it to Johnathan. Didn't drop the H because I didn't know you were supposed to drop the H.
What is Zealous? Hungarian?
Yeah. Good call. Yeah.
So your parents, were they actually Hungarian?
No, my dad was Hungarian, but he was born here. His parents are from Hungary.
What, did he work in the auto industry?
He designed tanks.
Really?
And machine guns. He designed. He was a draftsman, so I would get to watch the tanks go to when he went to work. There's a big test track in the backyard of this place, and there was a straight up incline of cement. Must have gone 60, 70 feet, and the tanks would try to get to the top of that hill.
And he was like a tank engineer?
Yeah, he was a tank draftsman. He just drew the plans out and stuff.
Wow.
And he did that. He hated his job, and he worked for 30 years at this job, and finally he retired, and he died a week later, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he never got to get one retirement check.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know, and he hated it. He was just looking forward to it. He's going to travel a little bit and relax.
How old was he?
I think he was around 60.
How old were you?
I was, God, I had to be about 24 because I was playing at the Jeff Valdez's club, comedy.
In Denver?
In Colorado Springs. I was in Colorado Springs with Ollie Joe Prater, who was...
Ollie Joe Prater?
Yeah.
And his gout and his cane? And where is he?
No, he was still walking at this time. Yeah, Ollie Joe Prater. I saw him fall off a bar stool completely backwards, just tip his head back and bang, down he went.
One of the great joke thieves, Ollie Joe Prater.
Yeah, he was a great joke.
And proud of it.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's when he didn't get into trouble, or he didn't take shit for it.
I think it was before.
He made a lot of money being a joke thief.
I think he was stealing hacky jokes.
But he would kill, though. He would drink all night during the set. He would do.
By the time I saw him, it was over. You know,
really?
I was a doorman at the Comedy Store in '87, and he was already on a cane, and Mitzi was putting him up at the top when she owned that little house at the top of the ramp of the parking lot of the Hyatt. There was a little house there.
Yeah.
You know, I lived in Crest Hill, but she had that one too, and he was up in there when he wasn't on the road, and he was already kind of ill.
Yeah, he got sick. Yeah, he got sick pretty bad. But I remember watching. He's the first guy I ever saw do cocaine.
Really?
Him and A. Whitney Brown and me went to the Jack Tar Hotel in San Francisco. And I watched him snort coke and put water up his nose. He used to just cup water in his hand and snort it. I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
It's a pretty amazing day, that first day you see somebody.
When was your first?
I think I was in high school, and I think it was where I was working at a bagel place, and the owner was sort of a blow monkey. And I believe the first time I did it was because he turned me on to it. I was probably 14 or 15.
You take to it really fast.
Well, if you're into it. I mean, I think some people see that shit and they're like, what the fuck? And other people are like, I need to be part of that for about 30
I think that
years.
Once you decide to do the first time, you're into it right away.
But when you were a kid, you weren't into it?
Not really, no. I never did coke. I did other stuff. I did like mescaline and stuff like that. You know, people you never hear mescaline anymore.
No, that's a rare one.
Yeah, nobody makes mescaline anymore.
I don't think mescaline's
I would
around
take it anyway. So you put a line of coke in front of me right now, and I'd freak out. I would just I wouldn't do it. The smell of it makes me just like, it brings all these memories come flooding back.
How long have you been off, though?
Oh, a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you clean everything?
No, not. You know what? Well, I'll tell you the story. I just got diagnosed about 6 years ago. I got diagnosed with a heart condition.
Is it like congenital, or did you do it?
It's degenerative.
But did you do it?
I could have very well have done it. I mean, no one would be shocked if I said, yeah, everyone.
So
what they said is because I might have had a virus when I was a kid, and that caused
what's it called?
Cardiomyopathy. But I didn't tell the doctors what I was doing. I mean,
sure.
You can fool an X-ray with speed, I'm sure.
Yeah. So you were on it when you got the X-ray?
Yeah. No, I wasn't on when I got the X-ray. But after I found out the results, I said, you know what? If I'm dying, why not? And now I've been given like a timestamp, like you got 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, it tops maybe a year to 2 years because right now my heart is failing and they can't give me a transplant because I'm diabetic and they won't give it to a diabetic.
Were you always diabetic?
For the last maybe 15, 20 years. Type 2 though. But never took care of it. So
what's going on?
If I did my medicine like I did my medicine,
sure,
and then I'd be,
So you could die any minute.
Yeah, I could. Right now, it's within the last 7 or 8 months, I found out that, if these drugs we're giving you don't work, you have about a year to 2 years.
God.
But you know what, Mark? I mean,
do you have a pacemaker or something?
No, I have a whole thing I got to wear that's it's a defibrillator that's over my heart.
You have it on now?
No, I took it off before I came in.
Why'd you take it off now?
Because it'd be so cool to die on your show.
Okay, all right.
Come on. It'd be so great. It'd be better than Gallagher walking out.
It sure would.
Yep. So no, because it's a real pain in the ass to wear it. It's all over the place. I got electrodes all over the place.
You have to wear a defibrillator that kicks in.
Yeah, this thing will. If I pass out, this thing will detect that, and if I have 30 seconds to shut it off. If I don't shut it off, it shoots this blue jelly all over me, and conductive jelly, and zaps me, and it warns. It warns people, stay away from it, because people will start to touch you and shake you. Are you all right?
Yeah,
it'll stop their heart and start mine. So it's kind of like the ultimate practical joke. Wouldn't that be?
Oh my!
I know.
You go on stage with that on?
Yeah, I have. I did my last show last weekend. I announced that I was retiring from doing shows. I did my last shows in Toledo, and I'm done now. I'm finished.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Magic Castle and shoot a special. Do 6 shows there, and in 2 nights, and shoot a special. And that's not for the public though. But
right,
my last show for the public's over.
Oh my God!
I'm done, man. So are you asking me if I'm partying? Fuck yeah, man! I'll get my hands on anything right now, and I'll do it because the pain.
Seriously?
Level, yeah, because the pain in my hands and my feet right now are it's so bad. It's
from what?
From my heart not pumping blood to my extremities.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's my hands are always tingling. I always feel like my feet. I can't walk more than 20 feet. They lock up. The last few shows I did, halfway through, I started locking up. Everything started seizing up. My hands were like a claw, when you get cramps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you'll see me looking for heroin in about 2 months.
Come on.
Well, wouldn't you if you're dying?
I don't know. I mean, it depends what quality of life you want to have.
Well, this is no quality of life. I mean,
but you're awake.
I'm getting married too. That's the
you're
sad
getting
part.
married.
I'm getting married too. And yeah.
But so we don't want to be doing heroin when you're married.
No, but if I start feeling really bad pain, I start going. I've never tried it, and I would definitely.
You've never tried heroin?
No, have you?
Yeah.
Well, how is it?
I didn't boot it. I just snorted it.
That's what I would do.
It kind of made me nauseous, and I fell asleep. I didn't get the full effect. I didn't lock in.
That sounds great. Nauseous and sleep. That's how I'm feeling now.
But I'm like you, man. I like to go fast. I like
I like focused drugs. I never was a drinker. I never drank.
Yeah.
Never drank. I always did drugs that make you focused and not sleep. Be awake all the time. So.
But so you start as a kid as a magician.
Yeah, and then the talent show stopped me from doing that. The talent show that I did at my high school went so horribly wrong that the next day in school the kids didn't tease me. They didn't tease me. Kids are cruel about that stuff.
Yeah.
It was so bad they just they didn't say a word. They avoided me, man. They just avoided all eye contact.
How did it go so bad? You couldn't find the coin or what?
Listen to that. I did 6 tricks, and all 6 tricks went wrong. I mean, the girl in the sword box had a leg cramp, and she said, "I have to get out. I have to get out of the sword."
Stop it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So she got out of the sword box halfway through the trick and knocked all the sides off, and the two mirrors smashed.
Yeah.
I killed my dove. I produced a dove, and it got out of my hand and was running, and I chased it, and it stopped real fast, and I couldn't stop that fast.
You killed the bird.
I ran right over it. I squashed it with my foot.
That's why they didn't make fun of you.
Yeah, and then I exposed the levitation. You could see the steel bar holding the girl up in the air the whole entire time. It was supposed to be hidden until I got it right in front of it.
Well, you had some pretty big tricks for a teenager.
Yeah, I had illusions. This was going to be my big, this could get me the chicks in high school. Yeah. This was going to be, it made me from an idiot.
You killed a bird, you showed the trick, the chick wouldn't stay in the box.
And then the final thing was the guillotine, and I said, that can't go wrong because the blade falls, penetrates the neck and doesn't cut the head off, and that's the trick. And then they shut the lights off. Well, they shut the lights off just as the blade started to drop, so you never saw it penetrate the guy's neck. You just blacked out. And that was it. All done to Elton John's funeral for a friend. And I'm dressed like a dick from Godspell with this rainbow suspenders and the heart on my forehead.
Come on.
I thought that was so cool.
Like Doug Henning?
I had my hair permed like Doug Henning. And I just tanked, man. And I went to Toronto and got so shit-faced after that night. And I said, I'll never do magic again. And I never did. Never did a serious magic show after that.
So how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 2 sisters, 2 older sisters, no brothers.
They still around?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're around.
And so now, all right, so how do you decide to get into show business after that disaster?
All right, well, listen, this is funny. This is really, really funny. I used to be able to bend spoons. I figured out how to bend a spoon with using my mind, but it was just misdirection. I would make them look away for a second, I would bend it.
Is that what most sleight of hand is?
Yeah, but I could do it really, really well, and I did it for my physics teacher, who I really admired, and he said to me, "Is that real? Are you really doing this, or is it a trick?"
Yeah.
And I was really really unpopular in school. I was like not standing out at all.
Yeah.
So I lied and I said, yeah, I can really do it, thinking that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
Nah, and the next hour I'm sitting in class, I hear on the speaker, John Zellis, please come to the principal's office. I'm shit, this has something to do with the spoon bending. I know it does.
Yeah.
I walk in there, there's my mom and my dad, who they call out of work. There's a bunch of spoons on the desk and a local reporter from the Macomb Daily paper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, this is not good.
So
man.
the physics teacher set you up to this?
Yeah, he asked me if it was real, and I lied to him and said yeah. So he told, and they got a reporter to come down. They wanted me to demonstrate my powers. My mom took me aside before this. I said, "Can you really do this, or are you just lying?"
Yeah.
And I looked her straight in the eye, and I said, "I can really do it." It's like a snowball going down. I said, "I can really do it."
Yeah.
And so I proceeded to bend all the spoons, and they freaked out. And then I thought,
You succeeded in the trick at all times.
yeah, I bent everything, and the reporter's he's chomping at the bit to do this great story about a psychic kid.
Yeah.
But I had to figure a way out of it because I figured that local magicians would bust me on it and make me a fraud.
But they can't give away the trick. Why would they?
They would say I'm lying. That this is what he's doing, like magicians do. You know, magicians they bust Uri Geller for doing it.
Yeah,
they'll bust me too. I mean, if it's in the paper, you can bet someone's going to come forward and go, "That's bullshit." He's just tricky. So I had to figure a way out of it, and this is how I got out of it.
Yeah,
I told my mom that I wanted to be a normal kid. I didn't want to be a freak in school. I just wanted to be a normal kid. I didn't want everyone looking at me like I was weird. And she bought it. They all bought it, and nobody did the story. But it leaked. This is the good part. It leaked out, and I didn't get that press, which I didn't want. But everyone thought I was this mysterious. And I got mad pussy. I got like mad pussy in my senior year.
Yeah?
I did, yeah.
Oh, because you were like the wizard.
Yeah, I was like man who fell to earth.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So.
And that's when you knew show business was the thing?
Yeah, yeah. Man, if a chick thinks that you can read her mind or anything like that, you're in.
Did you try to do that with chicks?
Oh, yeah. When they go to the bathroom, I'd go in through their purse, take their license out, get their birth date, their zodiac sign. I have all the details. We could put it back real fast in their purse. They'd come back and we'd be doing lines. And let me touch your forehead for a minute. Boom, you're a Virgo. Boom, you were born. And then that's it.
So you were doing lines in high school?
Yeah. Well, not lines of speed, lines of PCP.
PCP in high school?
Yeah. I know. PCP's a funny one, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't do that one.
No, don't, man. I used to do
Isn't
PCP.
that crazy time?
Yeah, I remember trying to hang the Christmas lights up, being on PCP with my mom and dad in the living room looking at me.
Yeah.
Knowing that what's wrong with them.
What does it do to you?
Not be able to hang Christmas tree lights.
That's the list of things you can't do.
Well, it depends on what you're doing. Sometimes you want to just go to the hospital sometimes, but my friends would never take me to the hospital.
Because you're just freaking out?
Well, I would lie there and go, take me to the hospital. I'm freaking out. And they're fucking with me. And they're saying, they're dividing my shit up. I want his bike. I want his stereo. Doing that kind of stuff. They're tripping me out even more, So, yeah.
So how'd you start performing?
I went to San Francisco. The whole trip was going to be, we're going to look for peyote in the desert. We're going to go to...
Who went?
We just read those Carlos Castaneda books. You know?
But you were with a friend?
I was with my cousin and a guy from high school and a girl who I ended up teaming up with. And we went out. We drove out from Michigan to California. We found an Indian at a gas station. Yeah, we found peyote, and we also found poppers, which I've never tried before. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and amyl nitrate, and we.
So the Indian had peyote and poppers. He was a well-versed Indian.
The Indian had peyote, and another Indian had the poppers.
The disco Indian had the poppers.
It was an all-Indian deal, though. Yeah. We knew to look for Indians.
I guess.
Yeah.
The poppers are sort of outside the box, I think.
Yeah, poppers. Yeah, I don't know why he had poppers. I'd never seen them before.
Real ones? Real amyl nitrate?
The ones that were like in the
little white
break. You have to break them open.
Yeah.
And so learning the self-discovery trip that we had made us discover that we all fucking hated each other. And by the time we got to California, they had dropped me off on the side of the road with this girl, and they took off back home. They wanted to go home, and I didn't want to go home. My whole thing was I was going to build a tree house. This is how stupid I was and naive. I thought I could build a tree house in Malibu or California up in the woods.
Right.
And live in the treehouse rent free. That was my whole plan.
So no plan to be an entertainer.
No, I just wanted to live in a treehouse, and I didn't have plans to do anything. You know, I just wanted to build a treehouse like the Swiss Family Robinson.
Sure.
I figured that'd be the cheapest way
You and
to
this
go.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course that never happened.
No.
No, I don't think anyone's really built a treehouse and lived in it that was over 17.
Yeah.
And so we just hitchhiked around, and we ended up in San Francisco. And we were so broke that I needed money, and I started doing street performing.
What was that, in the 70s?
77, 78. I was a street performer.
So who was on the street? Whitney Brown was.
Whitney Brown was on the street, and Harry Anderson. He's the first one I saw that really blew my mind out there. Harry Anderson. I set my stuff up and was doing my show, and I went to grab a bite, and I came back, and Harry had packed all my stuff up and was in my spot.
Harry Anderson was a street performer in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And Whitney Brown, because no one knows Whitney as that.
No, Whitney Brown had a dog act.
Yeah.
He had a great dog act, a comedy dog act. He inherited this dog from his partner who shot himself in the head. He was with A. Whitney, and he was gay, and he really liked Whitney, and Whitney wasn't gay.
Right.
And it frustrated this guy so much that he shot himself in the head in front of Whitney.
Really?
Yeah. And so Whitney got this guy's dog, and this dog was trained to do everything, man. It could do everything. His name was Brownie Breezebottom. That's what he called him. A. Whitney Brown and his dog of renown. That was the name of the show.
And this was where, like down on the wharf?
Yeah, he was working in the cannery, inside the cannery on the little outdoor stage, and it was a great act. It was, the dog would jump up and take the hat off his head and go through the audience getting money.
Really?
Yeah, and every time he would tell a dog joke, the dog would run into the doghouse and slam the door closed like he was mad.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was great.
And was he sort of a hippie kind of dude, like long hair?
He didn't have long hair, but he was a hippie because he ate all natural foods, and he was.
And Harry Anderson, what was he like?
Harry was a hustler. Harry was doing a 3-card monte on the street sidewalk shuffle and stuff like that, and he was great though. He got the crowd. He got
close-up magic.
Yeah, and he got doing close-up magic. He would get 200 people standing on the street, as opposed to me, who 40 or 50 people.
But what was your act then if you didn't know magic?
I did know magic, but I wasn't good at it. So
that was the joke.
Yeah, watching all these other acts, they were all doing comedy. They were all putting comedy in their shows. So
right.
I put comedy in my show. A. Whitney took me under his wing and showed me how to write a joke.
Really?
With the formula. He gave me Robert Orban books. Do you remember those?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think he's still alive, actually.
Yeah, I think he is too. I think he was a speechwriter for the president.
Right.
He was a great joke writer, and he writes for radio stations. But I remember I go into the library, and you couldn't check them out, but you could copy jokes from them, and I learned how the style of writing a joke from that.
Right.
Because the jokes were so old, you had to update them all. That's how I learned, and then the street act made me really good, really fast, because that's what the streets do.
Because you got to pull people in.
Oh yeah, if you're bad for a second, you'll lose their whole crowd. Will walk away.
Where did Penn and Teller start? Because they were street performers too, right?
Well, when I was street performing, they were on Off Broadway in San Francisco doing a show. There were 3 of them originally. They were called Asparagus Valley Cultural Society. And that's what they were called. It was Penn, Teller, and a guy called Weir Christopher, who was a musician. Mm-hmm. And they did basically what they're doing now with 3 people. But they got one guy to leave. The Pete Best of
right.
Yeah.
But he was a street performer. I rememed talking to Penn. They started.
Yeah, they did Renaissance fairs and stuff.
He was. I think wasn't he solo for a while? This Penn and then.
Yeah, and Penn was a juggler.
Oh right.
And he did Renaissance festivals, and they worked a lot of San Francisco street fairs and stuff. But they had a pretty good run in Off-Broadway show. And I used to go watch them when I was just 19 or 20. I used to watch them.
So when was the first, sort of spectacle? When did you start to develop the style of kind of over the top insanity?
Somebody once gave me a blood capsule. I used to do the razor blade trick where I would swallow razor blades and swallow thread and bring them up all on a thread.
Yeah.
But someone said, try this. Doing that with a blood capsule and freak them out. Pretend like you cut yourself. So that's the first thing. The reaction from that when I started drooling the blood and pretending like I cut myself, people would come around. It's like an accident. You can't take your eyes off it.
Did you ever admit to that it wasn't real blood?
Oh yeah, I think they knew it wasn't real blood because I would smirk and laugh about it.
So that was the first. That was the portal.
Yeah. So every trick after that had blood in it. I mean, even cut and restored rope, I would put somewhere there would be blood in it. So yeah, I learned how to do shock shock stuff on the street by shock. And there was a water drought. I remember you couldn't use a lot of water because there was a huge drought. And I would tell the crowd if they didn't stop, I was going to pour out. I had all these buckets of water. I'd pour them out and, say that if you don't stop, I'm wasting all this water. I'd grab a little kid and hold a knife to his throat. I would do anything. And I learned on the street. And then Shields and Yarnell were just leaving the streets at that time.
The mimes.
The mimes.
Yeah.
Right.
They were in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This whole world of comedy.
It was a whole generation of comedy out there. And who else was out there? Waylon Flowers and Madame came out a few times and did.
Really?
Yeah. I was just saying, I wrote a funny joke the other day. I was just saying this would be funny to get Waylon Flowers and Madame, if he was still alive, and Willie Tyler and Lester, and book them in a show, a big country show.
Yeah.
And call it Waylon and Willie, right? You get 1,000 country people in there, and it's a gay guy and a black guy
doing
with puppets. I would watch that show. That would be so fun.
You just wrote that joke recently?
Yeah, I just wrote that. I did.
So how do you make the break from the street?
All right, so I made the break from the street because I kept getting arrested. When I started getting really good, the crowds would get really big, and they would go out into the street, and I would try to rein them in, but I couldn't do it because there was like 200 people.
And they bust you for that?
Yeah, they bust me for it because I was the one causing it. So they get you for obstruction.
Right.
And the businesses down the Fisherman's Wharf didn't really want street performers, so they made sure the cops, whenever they could bust us, would bust us. So I was spending weekends in jail all the time, and Whitney was coming to bail me out all the time, and it just got to be ridiculous. And then
now, had the drug started?
I was doing buying sugar cubes on the street.
Of acid?
Yeah, Union Square, there'd be a guy that sells sugar cubes.
The late 70s, so it was a good acid?
77. No, but half the time it was fake and half the time it was real. You never knew if you...
So you'd be tripping and street performing?
No, I didn't really perform when I was high back then. I would wait, till that nighttime and stuff and do it. Yeah, I always could perform. I never did a drug that would hamper my performance. Like I said, I like focus drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen guys in San Francisco do acid and go on stage, and I'm like, how the hell do you, like Ray Booker and those guys? How the fuck are you doing that, man?
So did you do clubs in San Francisco?
Yeah, that's what I did. When the streets were over for me, when I decided I had to get off the streets, then I went to the Holy City Zoo, auditioned for Tony DePaul and Cantu.
Yeah.
They gave me regular spots because, a street act doing that with that energy, put on a little tiny stage, they never seen anything like that.
That was a tiny room.
Yeah, they had never seen an act like that.
Now, who was around then? Steve Pearl?
Yeah, Steve Pearl, Dana Carvey, Ellen DeGeneres. I was with...
Bob Rubin?
Bob was my opening act in Vegas not too long ago, like 2-3 years ago.
Was he all right?
Yeah, Bob was great, man. I love his act.
Me too. He's trying.
They don't know how to take him,
Yeah.
And I think that's funny to watch the audience not know how to take him. The old Rube, he's so tall, taller than the tallest. Yeah. He's just. I would love. The more he didn't go over, the more I laughed.
It's nice to be with somebody you like to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to come back around.
Is he?
Yeah.
He was in that movie. I was watching Boondock Saints, and he had a huge part. He was the villain in that.
Yeah, I think he kind of had some rough times.
He always does. He's always up and he's down. He's up and he's down.
That's his
mostly
problem.
down, but he'll never give up, man.
So you're doing the zoo.
Yeah, so I'm doing the zoo, and I remember Robin Williams came in and was showing everybody his Mork and Mindy contracts, and he was like making $5,000 a week. Wow, we were all pouring over that, and he would come in and do sets almost every night, and then Cobb's Pub was around, and then there's a lot of rooms back then outside of San Francisco that I would do. The Country Store Tavern.
Yeah, remember
that Country Store?
I don't
Tavern?
know. That was before.
It was
my time.
Rooster Teeth Feathers.
Roosters,
that's what it turned into. Rooster Teeth.
That's still around.
Yeah,
that's a good room.
It is a great room. The energy in those rooms were fantastic.
It's a nice setup. It's a nice setup.
So I did that for years and years. I played San Francisco and developed my show, and then did the comedy competition and stuff
for John
like that.
Fox.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, John Fox is the guy that got me my first big break.
Really?
Yeah, he took 3 comics from San Francisco to the Improv in L.A. They were doing a showcase industry night. None of us had ever played in L.A. before.
Who were the comics?
It was me. It was Will Durst.
Yeah.
And it was, was it Billy J?
Probably.
Maybe.
What happened to that guy?
I don't know.
I don't either. I saw him in New York for years, and then I just don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, so the 3 of us showcased at the Improv, and I did a killer set that night. And after I got off stage, all these producers came up, and I got three TV shows in one night. That's what started.
What were you closing with?
I was closing with Putting a Bucket on My Head, taking the bucket off, and my head was shaped like a bucket after that. Yeah, it was a cartoon effect.
How'd you do that?
I had a bucket inside of a bucket. And it was like it didn't really, it was the stupidest thing. I was, do I look pale? Oh, yeah. So
John Fox, that's it. It's nice to hear a nice story about John Fox.
yeah, I owe him that. And then after that, I got Thick of the Night. Remember that show? Mm-hmm. It was the show that was going to replace Carson.
Right.
Right. I got Thick of the Night. I got HBO's Young Comedian Special.
Which one?
The eighth annual.
Who was on with
John
you?
Candy. I was on with Steve Sweeney, the guy that does Mystery Science, Joe Hodgson, Paula Poundstone, myself.
And Poundstone was San Francisco at that time, wasn't she? Or no?
She was. Paula was.
She'd left Boston already.
Yeah, she was with us.
So it was you and Paula and Joel and Steve Sweeney.
Steve Sweeney and Carol Siskind.
Oh, really?
I can't think of who else. I think there's maybe one or two. But Kenny Rogerson was supposed to be on it, but he got too drunk before the show, and they didn't use his set. And you could see him in the background during if you watch that special, you'll see him back there by himself at a table looking down like, I know I blew it.
Sad, man.
I know, and he was so good. Yeah, Kenny, all the Boston comics.
He's still funny, man.
Yeah, they were all fucking drunks, and Boston was probably contributed a lot to my use. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was a guy there that he was in the mafia. He was a hitman. Everybody knew, and he was the guy that used to deal the coke in Boston to everybody. And he said he sold church bells, but we all knew what he really did.
Where, down at Nick's?
Yeah, down at Nick's. Exactly right. He was good, man.
It's with the nostalgic warm memories.
Yeah, well, I mean, he 2 times he offered to lend his services to me, and 2 times I was tempted to do it.
Oh,
yeah, I was gonna.
It's scary how easy.
Well,
that
somebody
is.
stole $300,000 from me.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so he said, "You want me to take care of him?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I do," but. He's going to come back and get me. He's going to come back and haunt me.
It will haunt you.
So I told him no. I said,
well, he was just going to work him over, or he was going to do him in?
No, he was going to do him in. Oh. But I kind of thought maybe just doing him over, I wouldn't get in so much trouble.
Right.
But I didn't do it.
Did you get the money back?
No, I never did.
How the fuck did he steal $300,000?
No, it was my agency did it. Do you remember Spotlight?
Yeah.
That they had every comic.
Yeah, I remember.
They went bankrupt and everybody lost all their money. And they had collected deposits from all these clubs and put them in instead of escrow, they put them to the general funds to try to keep the company alive.
Right.
So when they did finally close, we had to go out there and do all the dates that we had to honor all the dates that they took the money for.
Right.
I'm talking like Jay Leno and Lenny
they had
Clark.
Everybody. Yeah.
They had everybody. So we all got pimped. I lost $300,000 because I had a game show at the time. Merv Griffin wrote me a game show, and I was doing the game show.
So now, wait. So did you move down to L.A. then?
Yeah, I did. I went from San Francisco, then I moved down to L.A. And
now, when does the cocaine use start picking up?
During that part, it never stopped.
And you loved it.
I always had a good time with it. I never had bad experience with it.
Never.
Well, what do you consider? I mean, the next morning, and the lights coming up, and the birds are saying, "No." Only never thought I was going to die, but here I am
dying.
Yeah, so that's funny, isn't it? I laugh at it, man. I'm like, of course I'm dying. I thought I'd be dying. I'm always thinking I'm dying. The way I lived. But
it never happened.
Never happened. I mean, it happened this time. I mean, the doctors told me 6 years ago I was gonna, but. And
from this, right?
Yeah,
but you're still kicking.
I'm still kicking. Yeah. So
now, what is this? Like, I was told that there was a period where you went to Alaska.
Yeah.
But that was before you went to L.A.
Yeah, Michael Davis, the juggler.
Yeah.
He said that the Alaska date was an amazing gig to play because that taught me how to do cocaine proper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
These guys would come off the pipeline with so much cash in their pockets, not knowing what to do with it, and to spend it on all the strippers, and that's where I worked. I was an MC at a strip club. Yeah.
So this is before you made the break.
Yeah, this is before I had my break. But they.
How long would you go up there for?
They wanted me up there because but probably 3-4 weeks at a time.
Right.
Maybe once in the summer, once in the winter. So I get all dark at one time and all light one time.
Yeah.
But I lived in a trailer in the parking lot of the strip club.
Right.
So the strippers, when they were done in between sets, would come to the trailer and do coke and fuck me. So that's how I learned how to fuck. Right. Yeah. Stripper will tell you if you're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
They don't have no patience for that. That fucking. Here it is, motherfucker.
So you learned
Put your
how to
hand
fuck.
there. Yeah. Learn how to fuck and I learned how not to be picky.
Yeah.
At that time,
Right.
Because they were strippers, and
Yeah.
some of them were really beautiful, but because they worked in Alaska, they
Sure.
didn't get the best strippers.
But
in business.
where would you? But it was just for these pipeline guys, for these riggers,
Oh
huh?
yeah, they would milk these guys. They would come down off the pipeline, and they would take every penny they had, and
And you were doing magic.
yeah, I was just trying to do my intro would be something like, "You want to see some titties? Yeah, but first here's a magician," and they hated me. Man, they would literally had guns pulling. You could wear guns on sidearms in Alaska. I had a gun pulled on me. I got beat up, but I wrote to A. Whitney Brown. I said, "I'm dying up here, man. I need to send me every book on heckler lines, every heckler line book you can send me. Give it to me." And he sent me all these books, and I copied them on my paper, and I would just read them. I didn't bother to hide the paper or memorize them. It was too fast and furious.
Yeah.
And I would just like boom, boom, and I got really good. I committed to my head. Still to this day, I could do 100 heckler lines right off the top of my
Right.
head, and I got good at it. And then I became actually witty. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
You got
when-
your timing.
That's when the timing, but more importantly, the lightning fast responses
Right.
to anything that somebody could yell.
Right.
And that was the best. I think that was the best experience for my show, is doing that strip club. The streets were rough, the strip clubs were rough, and by the time I was done with that, I had a polished show that worked anywhere.
And you could do cocaine professional.
Yeah, and I could do cocaine. I used to do it on stage, Mark. I would say, "It's time for some coke," and I would pretend like I was snorting coke off my table, but I wasn't pretending. I was doing it.
But you did that for years.
Yeah.
The cocaine
Oh, I
thing.
would just snort that big, huge
Right.
jug of it, and
Yeah.
that was fake. But
Yeah.
but I would literally snort lines off the table, and everyone thought I was fucking around. But the guy on stage knew I wasn't, because he saw it going up the straw, but nobody else did.
Oh, my
yeah,
God.
man. I would write. I used to write bits to keep me off stage. So when I started smoking it, I had to get off stage, and I would go. I wrote a bit that I had an audience member up there was following directions, taped instructions on how to do a trick, and I was in the back hitting the pipe.
Freebasing?
Yeah, fuck it. I was like, oh my god, I was a loser. But I never missed a gig. I never missed a gig by oversleeping. I never did a gig that wasn't worth what they were paying me to do. I mean, money wise. So I mean, I kept it together.
What
you
was
know?
the Merv Griffin show?
Well, Merv saw me do some late night TV show,
Right.
But he hired me to do in Atlantic City. He owned Resorts International, a casino, and I did a show for him there.
Yeah.
A live show.
Yeah.
I replaced Rip. What was his name? Rip
Taylor. Yeah.
I replaced Rip Taylor.
You replaced Rip
Yeah, it was
Taylor.
called Red Hot and Rowdy, the show.
Yeah.
So I was the headliner in that, and I brought in a lot of business. At that time, I was starting to get a good draw. So I brought in a lot of business, and he called me up after it was over and said, "Ooh, I got a great idea." He says, "You want to do a game show? You want to host a game show?" And I went, "Well, I'm not really the game show type, you
Yeah.
know." And he went, "Well, this one you're because I based it off your show,
Right.
So we want to do it. The game is going to be different every time, every day. The game will be different. We will never play the same game twice."
Right.
That was the whole thing. So I said, "Yeah," and we went and we worked on it. We wrote it. Merv and I and some writers I hired. The guys I hired to write. One of them now is the president or vice president of ABC,
Which guy?
Mike Davies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his brother wrote Lethal Weapon, and he was just a guy that used to pick my audience contestants. Now he's like big
guy?
yeah, he's
Isn't that
the
wild?
guy, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All these guys that go on to become really huge, I've never asked them for favors, and they've never offered them.
Yeah, but you did
know?
all right.
I did all right myself. Yeah, I never really wanted to be an actor. Did
Yeah.
you?
Maybe a little.
You did?
Well, I'm doing a show now. Yeah. I mean, I
Can
think
you act?
I'm okay. I mean, I can be present. Like
Yeah.
I did a season, first season of my show. I did okay. This season I'm a little better. Just like listening. I do all right.
How are you at memorizing the lines?
I'm good at that.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you always been good at memorizing?
Yeah, I
stuff?
seem to be able to do it.
That's
'cause-
what scares me the most. It's not the fact that the acting is the memorizing the lines.
Yeah. Well, how did the game show go? Did you
Well, here's
have a
the
good
thing.
run?
Yeah. Well, we did the pilot, and it was really, really cool. And NBC loved it, and they picked it up,
Yeah.
and we shot 65 episodes of it. We did.
Wow.
Yeah, we did 65, and that's
So was that your big payday? The first big payday?
well, it was going to be. If that's the 300,000 I got ripped off, that was like maybe a quarter of the check.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but they stole all of that money. But yeah, we did 65 episodes, and I made some money off of that one. And then I quit the show because Merv I did 2 episodes they never aired, and they didn't pay me for them. And my contract said even though if they air or not, I still get paid for them. Well, they didn't want to pay me for them, and I walked off the show. And then when NBC found that out, they dropped the show. And Merv lost the show.
So there's no love between you and Merv.
Well, yeah, we made up. I mean, I saw him Rodney used to live at the Beverly Hilton. He used to come down there all the time with his bathrobe on. You know, he lived there at the hotel. And I saw him at the pool, and then I went over to have lunch. And
you were friends with Rodney?
No, I just saw him there. I knew he lived there, and I saw him at the pool, and I talked to him for a little bit. I never met him before, so I introduced myself, and then I went to have lunch, and Merv was there having lunch with some of the bigwigs. So I took all the silverware from all the tables secretly and put it up my sleeves, and I had it all ready to go, and this big gag, and I said, Merv, no hard feelings. I want you to know I'm doing fine right now. And all the silverware just dropped. I made the loudest noise in the world in the middle of this restaurant, and he died laughing. I thank God he died laughing, and that kind of was all right after that. But yeah, it was great working with Merv because he was there every single day, man. He would tell the best stories, man, because he had that show for so long. He's met everybody, the Beatles, and I would listen every morning. I go down there. I couldn't wait to go to work, get up and tape another game show, And
listen to Merv talk?
Yeah.
And you're doing the blow then, too?
No, I stopped doing the blow then. I didn't do it. I had to be real focused for that one because there was so much to do on memorizing the rules. Since the games were
very
different every day. The games, I had new rules every day.
Couldn't be out of your mind.
And we only gave away cash, which was Merv's brainchild because it had his casino, and anyone who won the cash would have to walk through the casino to get to their car and basically put it back right in Merv's pocket. So we only gave cash away, and we played the coolest games. Whatever we came up with, Merv would build it for us. I mean, we came up with some wild shit. We were the first ones to do the Velcro wall,
Right.
And we got in trouble with the Gaming Commission because we kind of cheated on a lot of the things. We would cheat on the games. It would be rigged. We didn't know you weren't allowed to rig the games if there was money involved and stuff. So I would be like a block stacking contest with somebody under the table pushing a rod up through my blocks. Mine would always be one higher than theirs, and they couldn't figure it out. And then, so we got a lot of letters of complaint, and we would answer them by taping a quarter to the paper and say, here's a quarter, go call someone who gives a fuck. And Merv found out we were sending out these letters, and he just blew his stack. And then we got
to get legit.
We got to get legit, So it was a fun show. It was fun. But after that, after the money being stolen from me and quitting the show, that was the downward spiral. That started the drug use again.
And then were you just doing clubs and stuff?
Yeah, I was doing clubs, but I was doing... I wasn't healthy. It was a bad state of mind. 2 times I've been in a bad state of mind. That and when I got divorced.
Yeah.
Both times I never ever think about suicide ever, but I was just kind of contemplating. Like when I got divorced, I was sitting there with a gun in my mouth. It wasn't loaded, but I just wanted to feel the drama.
Sure.
I wanted it to feel.
No, divorce is horrible.
It was really bad because mine was really bad because she just didn't tell me why. She just said, "I'm going back to Australia. I'm leaving you." She wouldn't tell me why, really. And I thought we had a good marriage.
But were you out of control?
No, I was not out of control. I'm never out of control. I'm not. Even though I've done drugs, don't make me out of control.
Yeah.
I've always been there paying my bills and always been doing my shows. And
so after you lost the $300,000, what happened? Would you just go back to the road?
Yeah, I was kind of like...
Now, you worked with a lot of people. I mean, everyone knew you. You were a respected guy. You worked with Seinfeld. And I did. I was with Jerry when his dad died. We did a show that night. Oh, really?
It was for the president of the United States. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we got a call. I got a call from the Secret Service when I was in the hotel room in Atlanta, and I got a call, and I was like, "This is the Secret Service. Do you want to do a show for the president?" And I just hung up, thinking it was like, my friends, because they do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
So my agent calls back and says, what the fuck are you doing? That was really the Secret Service. So they did a background check and found out I didn't have any arrests and my background was clean. And so they told me, if you want to do the show, be at the corner of 58th and Broadway at like 7:30 in the morning, and we'll pick you up, and a black van will pull up. We can't tell you where you're going or where the location is. Real hush hush. So I went, and I paid for everything. They didn't pay for anything. So when I got there was Seinfeld and Yakov Smirnoff.
What were they doing in Atlanta?
No, I got the call in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
We had to go to New York.
Oh, okay.
And we got in this van. And
the three of you.
Yeah, and they took us under this tunnel under the Hudson Bay, Governor's Island.
Yeah.
Which is like a military base.
Right.
And that's where the president was going to be. And they flew him in a helicopter, and we did a show for him. He was way far back in a reviewing stand. They kept us away from him.
Was there a crowd?
Yeah, there was a crowd, and there was kids, and then there was a big lawn, and then there was the president.
Did you meet him?
It was the president of France was there too, President Mitterrand.
Did you meet him?
No, they kept us away from him. They kept me away from him. Maybe Seinfeld.
What year was that? So that was
this was the set in '86. It was a bicentennial year for the Statue of Liberty's fireworks show.
Okay.
Yeah, so I decided, well, this is the first time I ever did ecstasy, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a hit of ecstasy
before
and do a show for the president. Well, that's only natural, right?
Yeah.
And so I started getting off on it and never done it before. And the Secret Service just was beating down on me, man.
You felt it?
I felt their eyes on me. Every second I felt them fucking staring at me, and
Not
I'm
a
getting
good trip,
really
huh?
paranoid, yeah. And then my road manager tests my blank gun off like an idiot. He shoots off my gun backstage.
They freak out?
Oh, they materialized like out of Star Trek, man. They just came out of nowhere and tackled his ass to the ground.
Really?
Yeah. They knew it was fake. They wanted to prove a point.
Right.
So he's like 400-pound guy. You know, they had him down like hog-tied him.
So you're out of your mind on ecstasy, performing for Reagan.
Watching my road manager get beefed down to the ground.
Oh, I got to clear something up. Now, the one rumor that there was always around was that you got banned from Letterman because you flipped somebody off.
I did. Yeah, I got banned from Letterman because I made a bet with a DJ named Kevin Matthews who worked in Chicago, and I bet him that I wouldn't flip him off sometime during the show. It was like $100 bet, and that cost me.
It was your first Letterman.
First Letterman. He called me over to sit down, and I scratched my nose with my middle finger, thinking that's the winning bet.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't look obvious, but I mean, it looked really bad. I watch it now today, and I see it, and I go. And it was Robert Morton who was producing the show then, and he thought I did it to him,
right?
Because he had cut my time down by a whole minute, and I was mad, he thought I was flipping him off, and so he told me, "You'll never be on the show ever again."
Did he say I knew what you were doing?
Yeah. Yeah, he knew exactly what I was doing, and I couldn't convince him that I wasn't doing it to him, you know.
You tried to tell him that it was a bet?
Yeah, I said it was a bet.
Yeah.
And it was. And so I didn't do the show. Then he got fired. Maybe 15 years later, he got fired, and Letterman saw my Comedy Central special.
Yeah.
And personally called. He himself called to have me on the show.
Yeah.
And I said, I wonder if he remembers that I had done a show before.
Yeah.
Now, if you watch me come out on the second time I did Letterman, you see me laugh my head off when I'm walking out after the intro. It's because he stood up behind his desk and did this to me, like flipped me off, and I started laughing. No, so he does remember this, right? So listen to this. I did probably the best set I've ever done on Letterman. It kicked ass.
Yeah.
And I was in my dressing room, getting undressed, and I was so happy. The producers came back there and said to me, "We can't air that. What that set you just did." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I killed it." And I said, "Well, I stabbed a girl in the head. My assistant was a girl, and I stabbed her in the head with a pair of scissors, and it looks really extremely real." And he took offense to that. Who
did?
Well, the guy said Dave wants to see you up in his office.
Yeah.
He'll explain why.
Yeah.
So, and he says, I don't know why, but nobody goes up to his office. He doesn't want anybody up in his office. So I go up to Dave's office, and he said, I want to explain something to you. I have a real strong position against violence towards women. And I went, well, Dave, it's slapstick is what it is. So what you're doing basically is you're because it's a woman. It's
right.
If it was
but it's also the classic sort of the assistant, the magician's assistant.
Yeah, and it was a slapstick gag. But but then he said, but the way he started it, he says nobody's a bigger fan of yours than I am. And after he said that, he could have said anything. It didn't matter.
Right.
Because after I heard that, I'm like, well, that's all I could think about.
And they pulled it.
They said, we're going to hold the same audience for 15 minutes. If you can come up with another set and get out there and we'll tape another set. And I don't have my props. I'm a prop comic. I don't have 15. I don't have another 5 minutes. So I went out and did the same material, except for I took the bit with the stabbing out and put something else in there. So the audience was watching the same set, laughing, trying to make it sound.
Right.
It was nowhere near as good.
Did they run that?
Yeah, they ran that, and you can see the discrepancy is because the audience just they're kind of stunned by me coming back out again and watching me do the show again. And
they didn't explain it.
Yeah, and so every time I do Letterman, it's surrealistic like that. And then I did a show at Foxwoods Casino, and we were sold out, and he snuck in to see my show.
Really?
Yeah. And they told me he was there, but he didn't come up to me and say anything.
Oh,
so I called his office the next day, and I said, "Were you at my show last night?" And he went, "Yeah, I was there."
He loves you.
Yeah, he does like the show a lot. Yeah, he's a big fan. So that's good because not a lot of people like prop. It's amazing. Who called you that you're most impressed with that found out that you like they loved your show? Who's the biggest celebrity that called you out of the blue that said, "You know what? I really love what you're doing"?
Well, Robin's been a pretty good fan of mine.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did he see you live and come up to you after?
Well, he's seen me live, and he's left messages before.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I really like
it's
what
weird.
they-
It's nice when somebody calls you like that. I got a call from Carlin.
And then you don't know if you're supposed to call back. I never know. Like, I'm like, what
If
do
they
I-
leave their number and say call back,
Yeah.
I would never call back.
Yeah.
I never would.
Yeah.
I'm bashful like that.
Carlin called you?
Yeah, when I was in Vegas, when I started my run in Vegas, I was just supposed to do 2 weeks for Brenner to fill in while he was on vacation at the Golden Nugget, and 2 weeks turned into 13 years. That's where.
So you had you had tenure there. You just
I did. I was there for 13 years. Last January is when I quit doing.
and that's big. Like, so you're all set.
Oh yeah. After that, I mean, that was like $3 to $4 million a year, man. That was big money because I was filling up the rooms, and.
Was that your?
Carlin called me and left a 20-minute message. He must have been tweaking or something.
Yeah.
But he examined my whole show. He took the whole show apart and said why it's funny and why he thought this was great. And he was dissecting it all in his head as he was talking on the phone. And it wasn't rambling. It actually, if you listen to it, it made sense. But I mean, it was to the layman.
He really took it in.
Oh, he loved it. He said, "Oh, I just love you, man. I just love your stuff." And after that, there was nothing that no review, nothing that anyone could say that would falter my confidence in my show. Because after Carlin says that, who do you have to fucking prove it?
It's like being knighted.
It is like being knighted, yeah, man. Because God damn, I'm sure he didn't do that. He did that once when I was sitting with Lenny Clark. He called Lenny Clark and did that to him when I was in the room once, and 10 years later it happened to me. So
That's sweet, man.
yeah, Vegas is good in the fact that people come out and see you. You know, a lot of stars go to Vegas and they'll come out and see you. You know, like
Right, yeah.
in the audience, they'll say that, like, Kevin Spacey's in the audience tonight.
Really?
It's really fun. Yeah, that was cool. I like playing Vegas for that reason. Yeah,
And you lived there.
I'm
so you-
starstruck too. I'm like you.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
to see stars.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
me too. Like,
Yeah.
But you lived there, so you set
I
up
did.
shop there, and that was the big payoff.
I lived at the Golden Nugget for 2 years. I lived inside the casino. They gave me the suite, you know, the Frank Sinatra suite, and
and they feed you and whatever you want.
you got signing privileges when you're doing business in
Yeah.
Vegas. No, you don't pay for anything. You sign your name on.
So that was like that. You won.
I did win. The first 2 years I was there at the Golden Nugget, I made more money than probably I ever saved in my whole career. You know,
And what'd you do with it?
I put it in the bank because I've always been taught to save money. So I lived on my merchandise money, my T-shirt money, and put my paycheck in
And
the bank.
what about the blow?
Wasn't doing blow back then.
No.
You think that coincides with whenever I was making the most money? Like
just-
the game
like,
show, I wasn't doing.
You just had this reputation. I just
yeah,
wanna know.
no, the reputation. I don't think that really bugged anybody because there wasn't any bad shows or didn't
No,
show
but I just
up
was
or-
wondering, like, if that was true, like you were, like how much you were doing.
No, I wasn't doing any blow when I was doing the Nugget. I was clean. I go through bouts of clean. You know, I
Yeah.
go for 2-3 years without
Yeah.
doing it and then start up
Right.
again. And yeah, it hasn't been the entire time.
Right.
And then I put all drugs away and I didn't do a lot of different ones. I was just doing coke for a while, and then I switched to speed for a while, but it never affected me except for now I'm dying of a heart condition. So.
But when you were in Vegas for 13 years, what did you end up like? How extravagant did things get? You bought a house in Vegas?
Oh yeah, I bought a beautiful house. I bought a mansion, man. It's like a castle. And, and I got 27 cars.
Yeah. What kind of cars?
Muscle cars, mostly muscle cars.
American muscle cars.
Yeah, nothing foreign. No foreign cars. All some of them are back from the 30s. A Pierce Arrow, 32 Pierce Arrow, beautiful car.
What's your favorite one to drive?
It depends on what kind of mood I'm in and how fast I got to be there. Like I like driving to work. That's what I liked about Vegas. Is my show was at 10 and I would leave the house at 9:45.
Right.
You know, people would think I'm backstage getting ready, but I'm still at home. You know, finishing dinner.
Yeah.
And I could make it to the Strip in a Corvette, a '61 Corvette.
Yeah.
I could pull that in 10 minutes, man. I could be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the cops knew me, so if I did get pulled over. I didn't get searched. I didn't
because they knew you.
Yeah, they knew who I was, and so living in Vegas it's a really small community. It's
Who were your buddies?
Actually Carrot Top. I would hang out with him and Chris Angel. They were all my friends. We all have a group that we hang out with.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And it was.
What about
really
the
fun.
old guard? Are there any left? Wayne Newton or anybody?
I never hung out with Wayne Newton. No, I'm trying to think of the old guard. No, I didn't hang out with any of the old ones. They're
Slayton.
Bobby Slayton?
Yeah,
he was there for a year or two. Yeah, he tried. A lot of comics came and tried to get their act permanently there, but it's not. I don't know what it is. It's not easy to do. It's not easy. First of all, the marketing. I'm spending $30,000 a month on advertising.
Right.
Just on ads. You know, billboards.
You personally?
Yeah. My deals have always been four wall deals. You know, I take whatever comes in.
All in, yeah.
Since I had to draw and I was filling the rooms, I like that deal the best because all the money goes to me, you know.
So you would market however you wanted to.
No, they'll tell you how to market. They want control over you. They totally want control over you.
Right.
That's the problem with the casinos. I had a real rough time. When I was leaving the Gold Nugget to go to the Flamingo, they were pissed off that I was leaving because I had really done a good job. I made their demographic younger, and they were happy, and I got a better offer. So I went, and they just slammed me. They Gold Nugget badmouthed me and said I was hard to work with, just tried to destroy me. And other casinos listen to that shit, you know, they believe it. But the Flamingo took me, and I made more money at the Flamingo.
What'd they say about you?
Oh, they just said I was hard to work with and all this crap. And then they had to eat crow because after I was done at the Nugget, Flamingo, they made me a big offer to come back there.
Oh, really?
They made me, they offered me $3 million to come back. I didn't have to pay for any advertising.
Yeah.
It was a straight $3 million in your pocket. And so that, after saying I was hard to work with, they had to, if I'm so hard to work with, why are you making me this deal but to come back, you know?
Yeah.
So I was ready to go. I was ready to go back, and I got to sign the deal. And then the week before I was to open, they sold, MGM Grand sold the Gold Nugget to these two dickheads, Tim and Tom. They started Travelocity or something, internet money, and they bought the Gold Nugget, and my deal
went away.
Yeah, went away. They were supposed to honor the contract anyway.
Yeah,
but they didn't.
So what else did you do with your money? You bought cars. You bought a mansion.
I did stupid. I mean, the things I like. I recreated.
You got a plane?
No, I recreated a drive-in movie theater I used to work at when I was a kid in Michigan. I used to always work at drive-ins. You know? And I had all these cars, and I said, how am I going to store these cars? So I got this giant warehouse at the airport, and I built a drive-in movie theater, an indoor one. But you would swear that you were outdoors because I have a planetarium projector that projects stars up in the sky.
And who goes to this thing?
Oh, well, I do, and my friends do, and I rent it out once in a while. Copperfields use it, Pantera's used it a few times, you know.
Yeah.
And people. I was going to rent it out to the public, but I decided I don't want people sitting in my car. So, but it's amazing. I had murals painted on each warehouse wall of more cars, so it looks like you're sitting in a long row of cars.
Now, like you hang out with Copperfield and Chris Angel?
Yeah.
Do they look at you as a magician?
Not really. No.
Do magicians play?
If I fooled them, they get mad. If I learn a trick and show Copperfield, I just showed him one recently. He got mad because it was me.
He couldn't figure it out?
Yeah, he couldn't figure it out.
Really?
Yeah, and no magician could figure it out.
And you made the trick up?
No, I didn't make the trick up. I was showing it. Someone showed it to me, and I showed every magician I showed to, but professional, didn't have a clue how it was done.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show it to you afterwards. It'll blow your mind.
Okay.
But they look at me more as a friend. See, I'm a neutral guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a threat to them. So that's why they'll all hang out with me.
Because you're like
they hate each other.
Different type of entertainer.
Oh, they hate each other. Like,
so you can't hang out with Angel?
No. You know, if Chris Angel hates Copperfield, vice versa. They have a big feud going on. You know, Copperfield doesn't want to give up the crown. You know?
Right.
Nor should he. You know, and Chris wants it. And so they're making up titles left and right. The magician of the millennium and the magician of the century.
Really?
Yeah. These are like fought.
Do you guys ever bust each other's balls? Do you ever play tricks on each other?
Me and Chris. Yeah, but Copperfield's got a good sense. They all have sick sense of humor, and I'm
well, Copperfield's boyhood friend was a comedian, right? Ted Bloomberg. Do you know? Was it? Do you
Alan
know that?
Bursky was.
Yeah,
he made him cry. Bursky made David cry.
He did?
When David was little, he came into the magic shop with a business card, and he stole this logo from Alan, this rabbit that Alan had copyrighted,
right.
and Alan yelled at Copperfield at the magic shop and made Dave cry. Yeah. Dave, never forget that one.
Really?
Yeah.
But do you guys do pranks on each other?
Oh yeah, I do elaborate pranks, man. I'm a practical joker.
Like
so
what?
I have a book out of practical joking.
What's the best prank?
Oh, I've got people on some amazing shit, man. I've sent people to do gigs that weren't even real. Yeah, I sent. I've done some really good stuff.
That's horrible. Do you pay them at least?
Well, my whole house is rigged up, so they all they. I build these things and put them in my house, and then they come over and see them, and they want to have them. I put this in Chris's Angel's bathroom. I put a shelf, and on the shelf's a cremation urn, and it says, "This is my rabbit Lucky, always in my heart." You know, and when people are in the bathroom, all they have to do is hit this remote control, and the shelf drops down, and the cremation urn falls on the ground, and all this ashes spill on the ground. People in the bathroom, they freak, man, because and Chris is at the door going, "Is everything okay in there?" And they're trying to clean this mess up, and some of them don't come out, and some of them come out and not like, "What? I don't know what you're talking about." It's so funny just to put people in that spot, man. And I built stuff like that for them. And Copperfield's, I built some wild shit for him too, man.
To put in his house?
Yeah, he's got a room with the ventriloquist dolls. He's got all the famous ones, Whalen Flowers. He's got Madame in there.
Charlie McCarthy, and he's got the Cliff Robertson one from Twilight Zone. And oh wow!
There's a whole room of them. They're great. And I had rigged up so when people come near the room, it activates the sound. You can hear them talking. And you hear them going, "Shh, shh, shh, shh. They're coming." And then you hear glass breaking. And then when you come in the room, there's a broken glass on the ground and no one moved. Nothing's moving. It's really eerie. So I like that kind of stuff. I like scaring people a lot.
Like haunted houses?
Oh, I built a haunted house in Vegas. That's another thing I did with my money.
On your property?
2 years ago, the Plaza downtown.
Yeah.
They gave me a hotel to trick out. They said, you can have 2 floors of this hotel to build a haunted house. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I said, "Are you serious? I can do it." And I had the use of the elevator. And I built the state-of-the-art haunted house, man. And 2 years ago, we opened it, and it was great. It was such a good haunted house. I mean, there wasn't those rules that you can't touch.
Right.
You got touched.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
You got your ankles grabbed. Yeah.
So you just like designing this shit?
Oh yeah, I designed it. It took me a year.
Do you do all the machine work on this stuff too?
I build stuff. Yeah, I help build stuff, but I'm delegating most of it. I go in there.
You design it.
I design it and oversee it being done. But I have most of it. And my house is tricked out. I mean, my house has been on TV a bunch of times on different shows, house shows. People come over, and I've got a doll in a glass case hanging on the wall, a display case.
Yeah.
And this girl's doll is in there, but I have it chained. The arms are chained in the case, and then I put some blood on the dress.
Yeah.
And they're like, right away, they're drawn to that. Well, like, why do you have that? And I said, well, it's from a famous movie, a director. Read the inscription on the foot. And when they get close to it, this doll comes alive and starts thrashing inside this case. And the door opens, and it's just the horror on their face, man. I mean, just to see this doll.
You like shocking people.
Yeah. Oh,
where do you think that came from?
I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, my family was kind of like that. If someone said, I'm going to go take a bath, you run to the bathroom and hide behind the door, you know.
Just to freak them out?
Yeah. We like scaring each other, you know.
Yeah.
And I always was building spook houses when I was a kid. I never played sports. You play sports?
No.
When you were little? See, a lot of comics, I don't know, they don't play sports.
I don't know. I never did. I'm not a sports guy.
I'm not a sports guy at all either. So when they were all playing on the football on the street, I was building haunted houses, and I would get them to come along and do that, you know.
So have you, now with this heart condition, have you had any problems? I mean, have you gone down?
Have I gone down, had a heart attack?
Yeah.
No, but I've fainted 3 times. I've fainted in the last year because of the medicine. They're thinning my blood right now, keeping it really thin so that my heart doesn't strain.
Right.
So when I stand up real fast, sometimes I get dizzy and I faint. It's happened to me 3 times, and it's scary as hell. One time I woke up, I had a gas pump handle in my hand, and then all my money was blowing down the street, and I woke up, and I'm like,
What the fuck?
I was pumping gas. I must have been pumping gas. Yeah, you don't remember what you're doing, and it's really disorienting, and you get mad. And then I hit my head. Once I passed out in my bedroom, and it smacked my head, and but that's just from the medicine. I think that's what's causing that.
Well, you look good.
I do. I feel all right, except for, like I said, if I try to do something, my legs lock up and my hands lock up. But other than that, other than that,
you feel all right?
Yeah, I do feel all right. I feel fine, man. I feel fine, and I don't think anything's going to happen. I don't see me going out that way.
Well, good.
I see me going out maybe in an accident, leaving here.
Okay.
In the limo.
No, don't do that. I don't want. Don't attach it to my show.
I want to have attached to your shows. I should fake it right now. If I faked it, you have to believe me.
I'd believe
That's my biggest fear is people think I'm fucking around.
On stage,
since I'm a big practical joker, everybody always, there's a hesitancy about helping me up.
Well, you just got to tell them you're sick.
That's what I do to the audience. I tell them, look, if I fall, I'm not kidding around. Come get me. Because a lot of people died that way. Tommy Cooper died that way.
Dick Shawn
died that way. Yeah. I don't want to be. I want to do it here in this studio.
No, it's not going to happen. Well, so this is it. You're retiring.
I'm done, man. I'm done. If you want to see the show now, it's going to be reruns, or you have to buy the tapes, or I got to figure out what I'm going to do for money now. I got enough to live on, but I want money coming in.
Why don't you design some state-of-the-art haunted houses?
I am. I have a practical joke company. I think I'm going to start.
That's what, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope your health holds steady.
I think it will.
Well, thanks for talking to me, man.
Oh, it's just as fun as I thought it'd be.
It's great to see you.
All right, man.
Heavy shit, right? Amazing Johnathan, hanging on and moving forward, but it literally could end at any minute. Any second. Oh my God. That was heavy, man. Go to WTFpod.com for all your WTF pod needs. Get that app, folks. If you're just getting on board, get the free app, then upgrade to premium. You can stream all 500 plus episodes. These fucking jackets, man. Seriously. Consumed. Boomer lives!